Hi everyone, welcome to Appliance Advisors. I'm Francesco, joined by my co-host as always, Dennis. Today we're going to tackle a very common question that we get, and that's, should I upgrade to a pro range? So kind of a lot to talk about here and a lot of reasons why you may or may not want to, but let's start at just why. Like, why do people ask this question? Why are people considering a pro range to begin with?
Yeah, so there could be a lot of reasons there. First is aesthetics. Some people may just like the heft and kind of the beefier, more industrial look of the range. Sometimes the space needs to carry something with a little more weight to it. And what I mean by that is maybe the ceilings are really tall, the kitchen's really wide and open, and pro ranges give you some of that, kind of fill in that void. And as well, you can get into some bigger sizes of ranges. Yeah. And you certainly know about size options. What do you think there?
Yeah,
sizes?
Definitely. So kind of 30 inch is kind of like that standard size range where you see in kind of a lot of different brands. But then when you start to get to the pro range, you're going to have options in 36, 48, even a 60-inch range. So definitely a lot of options when it comes to sizes where you talk about kind of having that maybe focal point of the kitchen with that larger range. Also, you typically get more options as far as the configuration on the top. So when you start to get to some of those bigger sizes, you can do things like built-in griddles, built-in grills. Some now have built-in induction tops or even sous vide. So there's a lot of different things that you can do on there. So I'd say there's a lot more flexibility as well when you get to some of those larger pro ranges. Now, also kind of one thing we always talk about is performance. Take me through that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, industry standard for pro ranges was always what coined a pro range was this idea of we took them from commercial kitchens and it was a 15,000 BTU burner.
Yeah.
That's where Viking really kind of kicked off this whole residential professional style. That was always the industry standard, but now, quite candidly, they've gotten even more powerful. I think to keep people grounded, just to know that every range you buy today, whether it's pro or it's a traditional freestanding range or a slide in across any price point, more often than not is going to be significantly more powerful than what you had in the past.
For sure.
Like anything, they just continue to improve that BTU, the high and the low. So that's kind of in a nutshell that if you can't always, or you're nervous of the performance and you can't always afford the more expensive range, you're going to still get great performance.
Yeah, and a lot of kind of the more standard ranges, like you said, you're going to have at least one burner there that is really comparable to a lot of the pro ranges. On the pro ranges, you may get more burners that have more power, maybe lower simmer across more burners. So again, kind of more that flexibility. But let's talk about cons now, maybe. Like, why maybe wouldn't you want to go to a pro range?
We talked on some of them. Some is you just don't have the physical size. You'd ideally want one, but you can't fit it in your existing kitchen or you're replacing what's there. So size would be one reason, but as much would be cost, right? They certainly cost more money. And when we say that, people say, okay, well, do they do something different? Do they last longer? Historically, we do see them last significantly longer or twice as long on a running average. The build quality of the steel and the components. Also, many times they're quite simplified, believe it or not. So there's not as many electronics. So a lot of the less expensive ranges today are very tech heavy, where the pro ranges tend to be a little more simplified, focusing more on just raw straight performance and serviceability. But I'd also say some of those pro ranges are still coming with that tech. So if you're someone that wants it, there are brands out there that offer it. But certainly price and size are two of the big reasons. And then getting right into ventilation. When you do those pro style ranges, there's a very different necessary need to improve or to upgrade your venting. And some people say, okay, I'll buy a bigger vent, and it sounds simple enough, but it's not only the vent, it's the ductwork through the house, and can you fit the size ductwork required for that more powerful blower within that vent that will match a pro range. So there's also some physical limitations potentially as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good one where you may not consider that when you're just looking at the cooking product, but then, things like makeup air when you get to those bigger ventilation products and things like that too. And definitely the features, like you said, it's, especially if you're looking at like an all gas pro range and you can compare that to a standard LG, Cafe, G, a lot of different standard ranges. I mean, the features that are built into some of those with the clocks and the menus and warming drawers built into the bottom sometimes that, you don't often find unless you're going up to like a dual fuel pro range there too. So
absolutely.
So
now, what's your favorite feature on one? Do you have one?
for a pro range,
Yeah.
see me, I'm definitely more, I like the electronics, so I would definitely go more towards a dual fuel, and I like the ones that have that really nice kind of guided cooking that's built into there too, that you're gonna find on some of the brands like a Wolf, a Miele, ones like that, that really kind of take you right through cooking anything and make it really easy. So for me, I like those features. And I would say definitely the other part is I do like the size. Not too big. I think that like a 36 inches is kind of really nice where you kind of get that, typically 6 burners or 4 burners with a built-in griddle. But I think having that extra space is nice and just makes it a little bit easier when you're cooking multiple things too.
Yeah, for me, definitely would be, I don't know that so much tech forward for me, but I do like pro ranges that have some sense of a digital accuracy to the oven. Specifically, because still some of the old ranges are thermostatically controlled, and all that means is basically as we turn that dial, we're jumping 25 degrees per notch, so you don't really get that precision. Where any of the ones with digital, you can truly get to 323 degrees as opposed to close to. So I think that's probably a feature I look for just as a basic feature.
Well, listen, you're a better chef than I am. You need the more accuracy. So hopefully this will help answer some of those questions on why you may or may not want to consider a pro range. So thanks for tuning in.
And don't forget to follow us on social media for appliance tips and updates from Yale Appliance.
Your feedback is what shapes our series. Like what you saw, give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing from you.
Stay informed and inspired on all your appliance needs. This is Appliance Advisors signing off.